Cedar Point. Cedar Point. Cedar, okay, you get the idea what this video is going to be about. Cedar Point is the roller coaster capital of the world. It is every enthusiast's dream to come here. Between their collection, record-breaking roller coasters, mediocre record-breaking roller coasters, the park deserves the title it has. And because of that, it's probably the most talked to death park of all time. I hear everyone talking about Cedar Point over and over and over, and I am such a hypocrite. I just realized that. Still, I just want to discuss something that wasn't Steel Vengence related or the new 2022 coaster, which we already essentially know what it's going to be. Check that video out if you want to. So, when I was looking for a topic to discuss, I came across something that could change the face of Cedar Point and Cedar Fair as a whole. And I'm not just exaggerating for a climactic effect. Well, maybe a little. But seriously, this could be a business opportunity for Cedar Fair, and I like to call this the Cedar Point monopoly. I know this phrase sounds vague. I'm not referring to a roller coaster monopoly that doesn't exist, and it sounds incredibly stupid. No, this monopoly is going to be focused on real estate. Granted, Cedar Fair is a real estate company. They own many properties throughout the US. However, this kind of real estate is going to be focused on a different niche, primarily hotels, luxury stays, etc., etc. Sounds weird when you hear it, because Cedar Fair is a seasonal amusement park company. Just listen to me, because Cedar Fair could be going in this direction, and this could possibly lead to a new division of the company. To get something straight, Cedar Fair, they're not new in making hotels. Actually, you can say Cedar Fair has been doing this just as long as they've been managing theme parks. The actual company wasn't founded till 1983. That was when Cedar Point acquired Valley Fair, then coined the name Cedar Fair. We all know that story. Before that, it was just Cedar Point doing their own thing. If we turn back the clock to 1905, that's when Cedar Point opened their first hotel, the Hotel Breakers. What was substantial about the Hotel Breakers, it was an on-site property, built right on the peninsula, mere feet from the gate. I describe this hotel as a Disney approach before Disney even existed. Again, Hotel Breakers was made in 1905. Cedar Point was still relatively new, only 35 years old. Yet they made the decision to build an on-site hotel. Keep in mind, in this era, the causeway, the road that connected Cedar Point to the mainland, that didn't exist. According to the Cedar Point timeline, the causeway didn't open till 1959. So the only way to get to Cedar Point would be by boat or ferry. Which meant if you stayed at the Hotel Breakers, you would have to be dependent on Cedar Point. Restaurants, entertainment, amenities, Cedar Point had you completely isolated. You had no choice but to accept whatever they had to offer, because there was no competition around. Since then, Cedar Point has built other on-site properties. One was Lighthouse Point. This one you can just rent a cabin or a cottage along the coastline of the peninsula. Another one was Cedar Point's Express Hotel. It wasn't built on the peninsula, it was actually 1 mile from the park, right outside the causeway. Doesn't really matter though, it's still in close proximity. And one of the last hotels would be Cedar Point's Castaway Bay. This one's actually a lot different from the other three. Castaway Bay is more of the family resort because they have an indoor water park. You know, not everyone's going to be willing to go to Cedar Point and experience all their high-thrill roller coasters. Castaway Bay makes it that some members of the family can sit back and relax at the water park, and others can go to Cedar Point. Win-win, and Cedar Point gets all the profits. So I have gone through the major Cedar Point hotels, and there's only 4 of them. I would hardly call that a monopoly. Why am I talking about something that seems relatively insignificant? Well, have you ever heard of Sawmill Creek? If you don't, I don't blame you, because this was news that broke 2 years ago. Cedar Point, they acquired this resort and gentrified it to bring it to the Cedar Fair standard. And let's be clear, this resort, it's not good. In 2020, they redid the place, didn't open because of, reasons. Now in 2021, I assume it's open. But anyway, this is what I'm getting at. Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, they clearly have the need to want to buy resorts and attach the name to their complex. Now, will they still be doing this? Honestly, yeah, they would, and they should. Despite 2020, people still want to go to the theme parks, and hotels will always be in need. It would be wise for Cedar Fair to continue this. Just to add another layer to this hotel venture, you know Canada's Wonderland and Carowinds? Yeah, those 2 parks, they're building their own hotels. I'm not sure about the status on them. I assume they're still under construction. Anyway, these Cedar Fair hotels, they're not actually Cedar Fair hotels. Let me explain that. Cedar Fair, they're not building the actual hotel. They're owning the land on which the hotel sits on. Does that make sense? Cedar Fair, what they do is find a plot of land that's close to one of their theme parks, then they contact the franchise, have them construct the hotel, then Cedar Fair essentially becomes the landlord. Now, why would Cedar Fair do this? Why don't they just build their own property? One, there's a lot of upfront cost in doing this. They have to put the down payment on the property, pay for utilities, supply, employees, all of that just adds up. Not to mention they would have to take on all the risk. But if they outsource it to a different company, have them do all of that, all Cedar Fair has to do is collect rent checks. Because someone else is sitting on Cedar Fair's land, they have to give compensation to Cedar Fair. You see where I'm getting at? Canada's Wonderland's Hyatt, Carowinds Marriott, they have to give rent. And let me be clear, this business structure, it does work. I have a few real-world examples where this method's in effect, like McDonald's. Believe it or not, McDonald's doesn't really make most of its profit off actually selling food. They make most of it off real estate. A majority of McDonald's, and by majority I mean 93%, they're franchises. As in someone else, they buy a franchise. Once again, they own the building, McDonald's owns the land, they pay rent, yada yada, I told you this already. Every month, they pay compensation in food profits and pay rent. That's how it works. If Cedar Fair, they continue this method and actually implement Cedar Point in this strategy because they don't own any third-party hotels, they can have an even greater control over Sandusky than they already possess. Because you don't go to Sandusky for Put-in-Bay or Lake Erie, they have the most substantial influence in tourism, and with a large corporate machine backing them, they can effectively take over any small business that they please. They can find a sleazy motel like Roadway Inn or Economy Lodge, let me repeat that, Economy Lodge, and purchase the business, the land, demolish them and build their own estate, or contact a third party. You can be sleeping in a Holiday Inn, Days Inn, Marriott, and not even realize Cedar Fair is getting a percentage of the profit. Besides this, they can keep doing the refurbs of current hotels. If they want another family resort that has a water park, there's Great Wolf Lodge or Kalahari they can acquire, although I'm skeptical about that because Great Wolf Lodge and Kalahari, they're a part of well-known chains, so they would be a lot more difficult to buy out. It's not like Sawmill Creek, where they're small and almost nothing. But anyway, what is the takeaway from this video? I understand most of us don't care about Cedar Fair building hotels. We would rather see them just invest in roller coasters and not go into the hotel game. Sorry guys, but that's not gonna happen. The only way for Cedar Fair to grow and maintain itself is to have multiple streams of revenue. To do that, they have to indulge themselves in real estate. But in return, we could see Cedar Fair have a lot more capital expenditure and build us the most insane coaster we can desire. Maybe. It's all theoretical and wishful thinking. Now, before we sign off, I want to say something about Lighthouse Point. For some reason, I've been hearing people say they're gonna tear down Lighthouse Point. I don't know, maybe it was a dream or something. No, they would not tear down this area to expand Cedar Point. Having properties on the peninsula is good for nightly rates. You can increase them a lot more than something like the Cedar Point Express Hotel. And if they did tear down Lighthouse Point, it would likely be to build another hotel breakers. Cabins, they take up a lot of space. You can only fit so many people in them. Having a multi-floor hotel would cram in a lot more rooms, but that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, thank you for watching. I know this video is different from what you're used to watching. Don't worry, normal roller coaster content is back next week. Remember to subscribe for more content. I'm trying to get to 6,000. It's been a while since I passed a milestone. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.